All right. All right. Hey, everybody. This is Adam with ShortStack. Thank you for joining us today. Very excited to talk about our new code redemption and code distribution features. So we're just going to hang out a couple of minutes and make sure that everyone that wants to join is able to get in. So sit tight, maybe grab a cup of coffee, maybe stretch a little bit and get your questions ready. We're going to be starting this up here in just a moment. All right, let's take a look at our participants at the moment. Fantastic. Looks like we got some more people joining. While we're waiting here, if you guys have questions or anything, there's going to be a Q&A area on your Zoom panel. I'm sure at this point in the year, everyone is very familiar with Zoom and how the workings of that is. So feel free to type in any question that you may have, and we will do our best to address those questions once we are finished with our video that my partner here, Jessica, has wonderfully put together for us. We're just going to wait just 2 more minutes, making sure everyone that wants to join can get in.
About how many people do we have on the call, Adam?
Right now we have 8 wonderful people.
Awesome.
And I recognize a few names. How you doing, Matt, Olivia? Good to see you guys. Amy, always a pleasure. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Well, for those of you that joined and didn't hear me talking to begin with, I'm Adam Himmler, the Sales Vice President for ShortStack. I am joined by Jessica. She is our wonderful Client Success Vice President.
Hello.
I'm sure many of you have talked to her. We all love talking to Jessica. She puts a smile on your face. And today we are going to be talking about our brand new features, code redemption and code distribution. And very exciting because it opens up many different doors for all of our customers. It's just awesome features, coupons, codes, discount codes, anything and everything under the sun. So yeah, super excited to talk about it. Jess, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I just want to add a small housekeeping item and let everyone know a portion of this training is recorded. We do that so it makes it really easy for us to distribute it afterwards. And it also makes it really seamless. So we just do that beforehand. And then I also wanted to say that just because it's pre-recorded doesn't mean you can't ask questions. There's a little Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen. If a question pops in your head, just type it right in, click on that icon, type it in, and we will answer questions at the end. Okay?
Awesome.
Take it away, Adam.
Hi, everybody. It's Adam with ShortStack. I'm excited today because we're going to be talking about 2 new features that we have recently added to our platform. We're talking about coupon codes, distribution, and redemption of them. So real quick on what that means, the distribution would be a participant coming to your campaign, filling out a form, and receiving that coupon code, typically via an autoresponder. And then the redemption, that would entail a participant filling out a form, and on the form would be a code field where they can enter the code into there, and then we will check to see if it's a valid code, meaning that it is an actual code that you have given to us and that it hasn't been used already. And if it meets those criteria, then their submission can move forward. So Jessica is going to show you a couple of these examples, and then we're going to show you how to set them up.
Thanks, Adam. Now that you know a little bit about code distribution and redemption, I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can incorporate this into your marketing. First, we're going to talk about code distribution, which, as Adam mentioned, will allow you to distribute unique codes to those on your mailing list, or to those who are interacting with you by entering your contests or giveaways. That's why it made so much sense for us to offer coupon code features, because they're way more effective when you combine them with interactive promotions like the ones that you build in ShortStack. To better show off code distribution, we found this example of a scratch and win giveaway, which is just like an instant win giveaway with the added cool factor of allowing you to scratch off an image to see if you've won. Multiple prizes were awarded throughout the duration of this giveaway and included 4 grand prizes that were all-inclusive vacations, 6 smaller but still noteworthy prizes that included car rentals and hotel stays, and then 20 prizes that included a discount on select hotels. This contest is over, so I'm just showing you the back end of it here in ShortStack. The participant would submit this form, then they'd scratch off the image to see if they'd won. If they won, they'd see this text, and this merge field would be populated with a prize code. In other words, they'd see whether they won the trip, or a car rental, hotel stay, or just the discount. And then there's also text here letting them know that they need to go check their email to see how to redeem their prize. Also, that prize code would be included in their email as well. So that's just one example of how you can use code distribution in your marketing. Apart from using codes to indicate a type of prize, you could also use codes to indicate different levels of prizes. For example, you can distribute a discount that can be redeemed in your online store. Maybe everybody would get 20% off, but there would be 2 or 3 people chosen at random to get like 75% off. The prize code would indicate the level of discount that the winner received. Code distribution doesn't all have to happen in a contest or giveaway. In fact, you probably want to pair it with some automated email features. You can use ShortStack's email features to distribute codes as well. For example, in an autoresponder, you could send a code in an email when somebody successfully submitted a form. Or you can use ShortStack's scheduled email option to send codes to an entire list all at once. Now that we've covered code distribution, let's take a look at an example of a campaign using code redemption. ShortStack now allows you to collect a unique code in an entry form in order for it to be submitted successfully. In this example, this company, the Portugal Wine Shop, is asking for entrants to submit a code in an entry form, which is obtained from purchasing specific wines in their store, or of course from a no purchase necessary option. Therefore, requiring a code in this entry form is not only incentivizing purchases, it's also a way for the business to clear out old inventory or maybe just push wines that have a higher profit margin. And they can do that by making only certain select bottles of wine eligible for the giveaway. Participants were allowed unlimited entries as long as they had a unique code to enter, so it really did incentivize purchases. Code redemption offers a few other advantages as well. For starters, you can use code redemption to track valuable information. In a giveaway we recently built for a snack company, unique codes were obtained by purchasing this company's products from various grocery stores and retailers. The codes could be tracked to see which retailer or geographic location the product came from. This would be really valuable information when understanding where to spend your ad dollars. Similar to code distribution, you can also use code redemption to create a sense of urgency. For example, if a TV or radio broadcast said, "Enter our giveaway, the enter code is, cat," and only accepted the first maybe 250 entries that submitted the code, this could be a great way to drive a whole lot of new traffic to your website or landing page. Lastly, use a code to promote exclusivity. For example, offer some sort of bonus or extra entry for those who redeem your code. Okay, so you've seen some use cases and learned about some benefits of code distribution and redemption. Now, I'm going to turn it back over to Adam. He's going to walk you through how to set these features up.
All right, so I'm going to show you guys our exclusive discount template. It's an S2 template. You want to make sure that you are using an S2 template for these features. So you'll open up the exclusive discount template, and then in the top right corner is our email icon. Now, most likely yours will show a number 1 that's in a red circle. This means that an autoresponder has already been set up for you, but it's missing some key details, and so we're not going to send it until it's completely set up. So click on that email icon, and then click on the pencil icon for the name of the autoresponder. It should say coupon CTA discount code. Click on that pencil icon, and then we'll wait for the email editor to open up. Now this first screen is an overview of your autoresponder. Now I mentioned the one in the red circle, meaning that something is missing. It's going to be your company profile. Now to know exactly what is missing is you just look for the red triangle with the exclamation point and then make sure to complete that part of it. Now let's talk about how you get your coupon codes within your email. So scroll down and click on the email block itself. That'll open up the editor. And then in the top left corner, it says connect prize/code list. Click on this. So the code manager is now open, and this is where you'll upload your list. You'll click the new code list, and what you're going to upload is a CSV, one column, and in that column, it can be codes, it can be prize names. For this situation, we would like it to be codes since that's what we're talking about. And you can go about getting these codes however you want. We don't have a code generator in our system, but you can easily go to a code generating website, tell it how many you want it to generate, and it can be completely random codes that provides you. Or maybe if your point of sale system provides a code generation system, then you could use that. And the advantages of that approach would be that the codes would live in your point of sale system. And that's helpful if the codes we're sending are ones that you want them to use for a discount, a coupon, whatever it might be. So you'll upload your code list here, and then we're going to show you the total number of codes, and then we're going to show you the remaining number of codes. Now, those two will add up for right now because you haven't given away any. But as we give away codes, you'll see how many are remaining. Now, once you've uploaded your list and selected it, your autoresponder is now connected to a code list, and you'll want to use the prize codes merge field. So select that, place it where you want it to go in your email, and then that's where we will stick in each unique code that we grabbed from your list. Hit continue. You'll finish up the setup of your autoresponder, and then you'll want to make sure that it's switched from inactive to active, and then save and close. Now let's talk about how you can do a code redemption. So this, to recap, this would be where someone already has their codes and you've created a form for them to enter the code into it. This would mean you would open your form to open up the form designer. And then on the left-hand side, there is a code redemption field. Grab this field, place it where you want it to go, and then within this field, on the right-hand side, you'll scroll down and see code validation method. Now, it could be a single value, which this would mean that everyone has the same codes or word or whatever it might be, and we're just making sure that they're putting it in correctly, that they have the right one. If you want to use unique codes or words, then you would select the code list option, and then we are going to prompt you to connect or upload a list. The method to do this is the exact same as it is with the autoresponder that I just showed you. Hit save and exit when you've completed that, and now your code redemption is up and running. Jessica, did you want to cover anything else?
I do. Thanks, Adam. I wanted to mention a few more helpful tidbits before opening it up to questions. First, code redemption is available on all the plans. However, there's a version of code redemption that's only available on the agency plan and above. If you're using one code for all participants, like in my TV or radio broadcast example where the secret code was cat, you can use that sort of code redemption on any plan. If you wanted to redeem unique codes that are uploaded to a list in your ShortStack account, then that's available on the agency plan and above. Code distribution is available on the agency plan and above. All codes must be less than 256 characters each, which I don't know that they would be any longer than that. I think 256 characters is a lot. And for code distribution, when you upload a list of codes, ShortStack is going to distribute those in order from the top of the list to the bottom of the list. So if you wanted to add a code, the same code to your list like 3 or 4 times, say if you were using the price type code, then you would just add that same code to your list 3 or 4 times. Now, take note of the links on the screen. This is where you can get in touch with us while you're setting up these features on your own and you have questions. But of course, while we have you here, we'd love to answer any questions that you have about code distribution and redemption.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jessica, for that wonderful video.
Yeah.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to open it up to questions. Please use the Q&A area in your Zoom panel. And of course, we would love to have questions specific to what we just talked about. But, if you're a longtime user or even a new user and have a question about something else, this is a great time to ask that as well. So feel free to open that up in the Q&A area. Actually, it looks like we have a question right now. A question for after the video. You mentioned something about no purchase necessary. What does that mean? So within the United States, you cannot require a person to make a purchase in order to get the code and then make that code a requirement in order to enter. Because now you're basically making them have to pay to enter the contest. There has to be a free option. So we have some blog posts that cover this in a lot more detail. And maybe we can include that tidbit in our follow-up email. We can include a link to that blog post. But it is something you want to be aware of. Now, I know some of you may be in countries that isn't the case. But currently, ShortStack, we don't have any native support for a purchase through a form or what have you. Everything that we do within our system is basically a free to enter approach. But I'll make note with our team to include the blog post that goes into that in more detail than I could do here. But no purchase necessary is kind of like a common law throughout the States. So while we're waiting for some additional questions here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a live walkthrough of setting up a code redemption, code distribution. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to create a new campaign. Now, remember, you want to start with an S2 campaign. For those of you that are new to ShortStack, S1, S2, S1 is our kind of our older version of the platform. S2 has a considerable amount of new features, including code redemption, code distribution. So make sure start with S2. And we'll prompt you with that when you first start building a campaign as well. Now, of course, feel free to continue to answer. You want to answer the questions, I'll answer the questions. You can ask the questions. So feel free to continue to ask those questions in the Q&A area. Actually, looks like someone may have put one in chat. Give me one moment here. Oh, that was just Jessica posting a, thank you so much, Jessica. In the chat area, Jessica posted a link to our blog post. So you'll be all set there. Matt has a question here. We have a brand account. What is available for us when it comes to code redemption and distribution? Everything we've just talked about. So you're on the brand plan, which is above the agency. Agency is when all the features become available. So you have access to all of it. And Matt, I know you run different radio stations. So something like this, especially with Jessica's example of mentioning a keyword on a live broadcast as a word that they need to use when they're entering, is a prime example for getting that listenership and making sure that people are engaging with you guys. So everything we've talked about is available to you, let alone everything else that we provide in the platform is available to you as well. So yeah, and Matt, if you have questions, you're welcome to reach out to me like always. I have another question here. Can you upload a random string of characters for your coupon code, or does it need to be a word? It's really whatever you want it to be. So that CSV, you'll have the one column. So that's key. It needs to be one column. And whatever you put in that column is what we're going to display back to the participant. So if it's random characters, if it's numbers, if it's exact words, it's whatever you put in there, that's what we're going to display back. But it's going to be text-based. So, I mean, it's not going to be images or anything like that. It'll be just live text that we display back to them and send to them via email. On the code redemption side of things, same thing. I would just recommend maybe not making it too complex, but I imagine people will probably copy and paste. But making it too complex for a code redemption might make it hard for them to enter it in. Have another question here. If codes are distributed in order, do I need to randomize the order of the codes before I upload my list of codes to ShortStack, or will ShortStack randomize them for me? We're not going to randomize them. So we will distribute the codes in the order that they are in the list that you uploaded. So starting from the top and down. And what happens, and it's both on the distribution end and the redemption end, once a code has been sent, or if someone has entered it in, that code will be marked as used, and then we're going to go down to the next one. Now, of course, the code redemption, that could be more random. It might not be the first code that's entered is the very first code at the top, but wherever it is in that list, we're going to mark it as used, and then they wouldn't be able to enter that in again. So that would encourage them to either go get a new code, or if you're providing other means of entry, then utilizing that as well. Great question so far. Feel free to keep sending them in. Really, this is good stuff, and I want to make sure you guys get all the information that you need to start building these out yourselves. So let's, I'm in the template gallery, so let's scroll down. Now, when it comes to code redemption, code distribution, you can use any of our templates. For our video, we started with the exclusive discount template. And the reason we did that is it's because it was already a bit set up for that scenario. But as long as you have a form on your campaign, you can add code redemption to it, or you can set it up so the autoresponder sends codes out. That's the beauty of our platform, is it's really up to you on which template you want to start with and then making it your own. So let's scroll down here, and there it is, exclusive discount. So I'll say use this template. Now, of course, there's many different elements to creating a campaign. I'm going to just focus on the code redemption distribution portion of it. But if there's something else that you see that you're kind of curious about, since I'm already here, just feel free to ask that question. So let's talk about redemption first. So I'm going to come down to my form, and I will open up the form designer. And then on the left-hand side, we will have our new code redemption field. So I'm going to grab this, drag it into my form, place it where you would like it to go. And then on the right-hand side, as noted in the video, you have the option of a single value code validation method or a code list. Now let's touch on the single value for a moment. This would mean that as long as they have the correct code, word, whatever it is, which you would put that in here, that would mean that it won't stop, it won't be marked as used. So if 10 people used it, 10 people would be able to enter. As long as they have the proper code, word, whatever it might be, then they'd be able to enter it. The code list is where it becomes unique. However, I mean, theoretically, you could upload a list of all the same words, and then we just mark each one off as it's being used. Now, and Jessica touched on this as well, the option of making it a required field opens up a lot of possibilities, because one, if it is required, then you're forcing the hand of your participant to go get that code, whether it's listening at noon to the lunchtime radio program, or watching a television show, or looking at the newspaper, well, whatever it might be. But if you make it not required, then what I would do is add the points to it. So you say get 1 point. Excuse me. So now what you're doing is you're saying you can enter with or without the code, but if you enter with the code, you are giving yourself better odds at winning the contest. We have a random selection tool that'll take into account the number of points that someone has, basically more raffle tickets in the jar. And pairing that feature with the idea of adding points for the code redemption just opens up a lot of options. And depending on how you want to approach it, could mean also saying, hey, everyone can enter for free, but now that you have this code, that gives you another chance at winning as well. And you can do as many points as you would like. It's completely up to you. Now, to further Jessica's point as well of saying, okay, this many codes are available, the first 250 people that do it get a chance at winning or getting that prize or whatever it might be. If you want to make sure that your form closes when we reach that limit, just go to entry restrictions, and then you'll set a maximum number of form entries to the number of codes that you have. So if you have 250 codes, set this to 250. Once we hit that, and it's successful entries. It's not like someone is erroring out because they don't have the right code or whatever it might be. It's legitimate, successful entries that are captured that count towards this number here. So let's go back to that code redemption field and say code list. We'll open up the prompt to get that list uploaded into your account. Hit new code list. Now I have code lists set up already, and you'll see like this one says 187 codes were uploaded and there's 185 remaining. If I click view codes, I'll see all the codes. I'll see when they were awarded, if that happened, or when it was redeemed. So awarded is when we distribute the code. Redeemed is when we collect the code. And then we'll show you, we'll provide you a link to the individual who either was awarded or redeemed that code. And then you can remove codes if needed. And then you can also add additional codes. So maybe your promotion has been extremely successful and you're thinking, well, you know, there's 2 weeks left. We want to keep this momentum going. Let's generate some new codes and upload it into the list. Perfectly fine. Just hit add codes, follow the prompts, and you'll be all set. Hit close. Now, once that list is uploaded, which I didn't complete that process, then this would be default to DS, hit save and exit, and now we can collect those codes on your behalf. Now let's talk about the code distribution. Come up to the autoresponder, open the pencil, and then basically the same situation is I'll open up the email editor and then connect your prize code list here. It's the same process that we just talked about. That additional field will appear. So let's go ahead and do this so you can see what I'm talking about. So we will just do this one, hit select. And now the prize code merge field is available. Place that within your email wherever you want, hit continue, and your autoresponder is set. What will happen is for every person that fills out the form, they get an autoresponder and they would get the next available code in that list. And there you have it. Of course, because of the flexibility of our platform, you can mix and match features, approaches, however you want. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you could run a photo upload contest with a code distribution and refer a friend. And oh, by the way, you can also enter by posting to Instagram as well. You can do all of this under the sun, of course, if it makes sense for what you're trying to do. But on our behalf, we try to be as unrestrictive as possible. So it's up to you, and whether it's your client or your own brand, it's what your initiative looks like. So with that, does anybody else have any other questions? I want to make sure we're giving you guys an opportunity to ask those questions in our Q&A or chat area.
Did you see that 5th question in there, Adam?
Oh, thank you. I did not. So everyone has the same code. If you're doing a single value, yes. Or of course, if you are uploading a code list and all the codes in there are the same, then yes, each person would get the same code. So you can either do what we call a static code. It's the same for everybody, or you can do unique codes. And remember, if you want to do the unique, that is available on the agency plan. Fantastic. Well, if you end up having a question after we're done here, you are welcome to email us. Let me switch back over to my other screen. So we have our help documentation for those of you that just love to read documents. We have our live chat and we have our email. So reach out to us with any questions you might have. We'll be happy to help out. I appreciate you guys for joining us, and I appreciate you guys joining us every week. This is fantastic. I love doing this with Jessica. So, you know, please join us again. I believe our next one is in 2 weeks.
No, it's next week. It's October the 29th. And the next one will be on holiday templates. So we're going to go over our holiday templates and show you guys some really cool contests that you can set up to boost your sales during the holidays.
Perfect. So almost basically, well, I guess we didn't do it last week because I was out. So another back-to-back weeks, which will be exciting. Holidays, we have a lot of great templates. So it'll be good to show that off to you guys. And with that, I, again, appreciate you guys for joining us. Jessica, as always, thank you for being my partner in crime.
You bet.
And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and have fun using these new features.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.